Sex trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery that exists throughout the United States and globally. Human trafficking is a serious federal crime with penalties up to imprisonment for life. Those who recruit minors into commercial sexual exploitation or prostitution violate federal anti-trafficking laws, even if there is no force, fraud, or coercion involved.
People who traffic humans really target runaways, they target the homeless, they target victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. They take advantage of war and conflict or social discrimination within a society. We don't really know how many people are trafficked in this country, but we know they're trafficked for sexual and labor purposes. A lot of people don't think this is a problem in the U.S., but this is a big problem in the U.S. Many people think it's just third world countries that this is a problem at. But we know that trafficking has been reported in all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. and U.S. territories. Victims of sexual trafficking can either be children or adults, U.S. citizens, foreign nationals, and they can be both male and female.
Sex traffickers use violence, threats, lies, debt bondage, and other forms of coercion to force women, men, and children to engage in commercial sex against their will. Under any federal law, any minor under the age of 18 years induced into this commercial sex is a victim of sex trafficking.
Sex traffickers may lure victims with the false promise of high-paying jobs. Sometimes they promise a romantic relationship, or they first establish an initial period of false love and feigned affection. However, the traffickers eventually employ a variety of control tactics, including physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, confiscation of identification and money, and isolation from friends and family, and sometimes they even rename their victims.
Sex trafficking exists within diverse venues including fake massage businesses, online escort services, residential brothels, public city streets, truck stops, strip clubs, hotels and motels, and many other places. About 2 million children are exploited every year in the global commercial sex trade. Almost 6 in 10 identified trafficking survivors were trafficked for sexual exploitation. Women and young girls make up 98% of victims trafficked for sexual exploitation.
Human dignity is the central concern of Catholic thinking about human rights. Each person is created in the likeness and the image of God and therefore has God-given dignity. Each member of the human family is equal in dignity and has human rights because we are all children of one God. These victims are treated as worthless slaves for pleasure, money, or domestic reasons.
In order to stop sex trafficking, we need to come up with a comprehensive strategy to combat sex trafficking effectively. Efforts must include both eliminating gender discrimination and curbing the demand for commercial sex. Gender inequality and discriminatory laws that trap women in poverty and fail to protect them from violence render them vulnerable to prostitution and trafficking. Women who lack access to resources such as housing, land, property, and inheritance are at increased risk. Women and girls trafficked for prostitution are caught in cycles of sexual violence and assault. It's critical to implement legal safeguards for women and girls to alleviate poverty and create greater possibilities for non-exploitative options for girls and women.
Some of the many things you can do to help victims of sex trafficking is learn to recognize the signs of sex trafficking. Call the National Human Trafficking Resource Center at 1-888-373-7888. Text Be Free to 233-733 and also visit the Action Center